Hey guys, I am Natalie Hodge. Welcome to SnapComms, where we bring you news in a snap. Contractors and suppliers, this one is for you. Joining us in studio today is Dr. Drexel Glasgow, Director of Projects for the Ministry of Finance, and Mr. Louis Thais, Head of Office of United Nations Development Program, to speak to us about the upcoming Procurement Workshop for contractors and suppliers. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now, we're all aware that the territory is going through reconstruction and rehabilitation. So remind us what the reconstruction and rehabilitation loan is about.
Sure. So following the events of last year, government decided to look at the recovery holistically, and one of the first initiatives in funding the recovery was to approach the bank for a loan. And so we are actively engaged in the what's called the RRL loan, and we're moving to rehabilitate some of the main government infrastructures, so the schools, the ports, government buildings, the roads, etc., and with those associated consultancies.
Now, we have an upcoming workshop scheduled for contractors and suppliers. Now, tell us why these workshops are important. Why do we think they're necessary to continue holding these workshops?
Well, one of the things we've seen from our previous experience with CDB loans and just procurement on the whole is that our local contractors and suppliers generally do not know the feel of tendering, preparing proper bids, etc., and also even knowing the various requirements as required by the bank, CDB. And so one of the things we want to do is to properly prepare them by offering those guidelines, this workshop on the guidelines of the bank. And as we will also discuss in a bit about the offerings that we're going to be looking at with the workshops to actually help contractors and suppliers in gaining knowledge to successfully participate in the bids. And we want to ensure that the locals take part in this, because the success to any recovery is to ensure that the local contractors be a part actively of the recovery.
All right, Mr. Thais, if you would be so kind to tell us what will be covered in the workshops. What can persons who register expect to gain from the sessions?
Yes, it's important perhaps to note that there are going to be two different sessions. One session, which is dedicated exclusively to public officials, particularly procurement officers. The idea is to beef up the capacities of these officers in order to evaluate, in order to lead the different purchasing processes to bid, for the reconstruction process. And on the other hand, on Thursday, we'll be organizing this workshop with local contractors. The idea is to get them familiarized with CDB documentations, because this is a CDB loan, and also explore capacities for partnership building, for joint ventures, and the different other requisites, that the CDB requires to be able to access and participate basically in the procurement processes.
Now, I understand that public officers and other consultants will be tasked with managing the execution of these projects. Talk to us a bit about any training opportunities that will be available to them.
There's going to be many opportunities available. It's important to note that the reconstruction and rehabilitation of a territory is not only about, building or rehabilitating new infrastructure. There's a lot more issues involved in these processes. For example, how do we strengthen coordination? How do we strengthen stakeholder engagement? How do we strengthen consultations with neighborhoods, with the communities, and so forth? So, in addition, the works, are under strict social and environmental safeguards, which are a priority for the Caribbean Development Bank and other development banks as well. So there needs to be a lot of capacity built on that aspect to ensure that the reconstruction process basically meets these standards, international standards, and we ensure, that they end up contributing to building back better, and stronger BVI.
And one of the things I wanted to add, as a part of UNDP's support to government and Ministry of Finance, is to actually provide opportunities for capacity building, both to government officers and also to the wider BVI. And so we see this as a very great start to this, and we want to continue this momentum. even in the Ministry of Finance, one of the things we say, well, once we prepare the contractors, we want them not just to be able to be competitive locally, but also to be competitive in the region.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
very
us.
much.
Remember, you can register for the workshop scheduled for Thursday, October 11th by emailing felicia.robinson@undp.org or mambrose@gov.vg or call 468-5932. There you have it, guys. I'm Natalie Hodge signing off. Be sure to tune in for your daily feed of SnapComms, where we bring you news in a snap.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Twitter, and Facebook at BVI Government and Instagram at GIS-BVI.
SnapComms is brought to you by the Disaster Recovery Coordinating Committee, Government of the Virgin Islands.